For those of you that were rejoicing that 500 lawyers are protesting or protested the attempted arrest of Yahaya Bello, I have news for you. Don't rejoice yet, because the NBA has come out to say that those 500 people were not lawyers. The NBA is the body that is in charge of the Nigerian law school. The NBA is the body that, after any lawyer graduates from the university, trains that lawyer in law school for 1 year and accredits that lawyer, giving the lawyer a license to practice as a lawyer in Nigeria. So if anybody is a lawyer in Nigeria, and anybody should know who a lawyer is in Nigeria, it's the NBA. So for the NBA to come out to make a categorical statement that the leader of those group of 500 persons that claimed to be lawyers marching in defense of democracy or lawyers marching in defense of the rule of law, please, the public is hereby informed that those people are not lawyers. If they were lawyers, like I said in a previous video, it would mean that these lawyers were actually defending someone when that person is responsible for sufferings of the masses and indigents of Kogi. It is not wrong for people to protest. In fact, according to what the NBA said, despite the fact that citizens and indigents of Nigeria reserve the right to protest, to air their grievances, that these people were not doing it on behalf of the NBA, that in fact these people were not lawyers. The morality of it is what is in question here. When the indigents of Kogi were suffering under the administration of Yahaya, why do I say administration? Under the rule or misrule of Yahaya Bello for 8 years in Kogi, receiving percentage salary, wallowing in poverty and hunger. Somebody who is supposed to be collecting 80,000, collecting 15,000 at the end of the month. In fact, in most months, Yahaya Bello will simply refuse to pay, asking that the civil servant should dash him that month's salary. With all the sufferings that these people went through, these 500 group of lawyers, they did not know to come out to defend the interest of the indigents of Kogi at the time. They didn't. But now that Yahaya Bello has been called to come and answer for allegations of laundering 80 billion naira of Kogi state money, using 720,000 US dollars of Kogi state money to pay for his child's school fees abroad in advance. Just a few days before his handover. This $720,000 case is not in 2015. It's not in 2014. It was in 2024 January here, a few days before the handover of Yahaya Bello. 720,000 US dollars of Kogi state money that the EFCC is saying that Yahaya Bello used to pay for his child's school fees in advance. Haba. If there is anybody that lawyers should be protesting to defend, should it not be the people of Kogi state? Should it not be the civil servants that collected percentage pay, 10%, 20%, 15% for 8 years of Yahaya Bello's misrule of Kogi state? Is that not the people that lawyers should be defending? Rather than focus on substance, some of these people who claim to be parading themselves as lawyers are defending the person of Yahaya Bello. Thank God that the NBA has come out to say that these people are not lawyers. So you have it there for you. Yahaya Bello must come and answer for his crimes or alleged crimes. No individual, no group can stop the prosecution of any individual in Nigeria. If a law enforcement agency has a case against anybody, that person must face those allegations and prove himself innocent. Of course, they are innocent until proven guilty. So why the fear? Why is Yahaya Bello on the run? Why? So Yahaya Bello is denying that EFCC invited him before EFCC carried out the attempted arrest on him in Abuja. He's denying that he has made this known through his lawyers, saying that the EFCC should provide the written letter of invitation that was signed and received by Yahaya Bello or his agents to prove that the EFCC actually really invited Yahaya Bello. That's what the lawyers are saying. So my question is this: is it that Yahaya Bello or his lawyers think that the only way that the EFCC can invite persons of interest is only through written letters? Is a written letter the only way, the only acceptable way through which the EFCC can invite persons of interest? Look, there are three ways through which the EFCC can invite persons of interest. And if Yahaya Bello doesn't know it, then I'll be very disappointed. Or maybe not so disappointed, because come on, it's Yahaya Bello that we're talking about. There are three ways. The written letter of invitation is only one of it. You have a phone call, which is another acceptable means. You have a text, SMS, whether SMS or WhatsApp message. Those are acceptable means of invitation. As it is with EFCC, so it is with the DSS, so it is with the police. These are acceptable means to contact any person of interest. So, if Yahaya Bello is insisting that the EFCC did not officially invite him, can Yahaya Bello or his lawyers answer this question? The EFCC chairman has come out to say categorically on video that he put a call across to Yahaya Bello. And from what we have seen, a call is an acceptable means of invitation. If Yahaya Bello is still denying that the EFCC did not invite him, can Yahaya Bello come out now, or through his lawyer, since he's afraid to come out or for fear of being arrested? Can he come out through his lawyers to confirm or deny that the EFCC chairman did not call him? Can he do that? And if it is true from what the EFCC chairman said that he indeed put a call across to Yahaya Bello, is that not an acceptable means of invitation? Does Yahaya Bello have the right to reject that kind of invitation because it is not written? Is Yahaya Bello above the law? If Yahaya Bello does not have anything to hide, why didn't he take that form of invitation as acceptable and then go to EFCC, answer whatever questions they have, and if worst case scenario he is detained, maximum 24 hours, 48 hours, 1 week, eventually he will be released? Because that's what happened with every former governors that we have seen that had issues with EFCC. So can Yahaya Bello say effectively that the EFCC did not invite him when it is on record that the EFCC put a call across to him? Let us be very careful what we defend. The EFCC, it's doing its job. I know that many of us have bias against the EFCC. I should have bias against the EFCC. I have gone through an ordeal with the EFCC, my wife and I know how harrowing that experience was. But at the end of the day, I know that the EFCC is only doing its job. Can the EFCC be overreaching sometimes? Of course, the EFCC can be overreaching sometimes. But in the case of Yahaya Bello at hand right now, before we argue that the EFCC did not invite Yahaya Bello, or while we are doing that argument, can we at least focus on the substance of the matter, noting that the EFCC can invite through calls, which the EFCC did? Can we focus on the substance of the matter? The allegations here are that 82 billion naira was laundered from government account. And out of that money, staff of the state house, government house in Kogi, were sent with some of the money to go to Bureau de Change, change the money to dollar, and EFCC says that Yahaya Bello used that money, $720,000 to pay for his child's school fees in advance, because he knows that he was leaving office in a few months. This was in January of 2024. For those of you arguing that, oh, the case that is filed or the charges that were filed against Yahaya Bello were from 2015, it is not true. Take the advice of the EFCC chairman. Go and apply for the CTC of the charges that are brought against Yahaya Bello. You'll see that this charge of laundering $720,000 is part of it. And that was in 2024 January, a few days before the handover of Yahaya Bello to current Governor Ododo. Can we look at the substance of the matter? In a state like Kogi that is so poor, in a state like Kogi that civil servants suffered under the hands of Yahaya Bello for 8 years, receiving percentage salary, level 14 officers that are supposed to be earning 100,000 according to the state salary scale, were being made to go home with 20,000, 15,000 because of percentage salary. Sometimes they are given 10%, sometimes they are given 15%, sometimes they are given 20%, maximum 25%. In fact, in some months, the civil servants in Kogi are told by Yahaya Bello that the civil servant should dash him the salary. He doesn't even bother to pay. With all these things that have happened under Yahaya Bello, the suffering and the hardship that Yahaya Bello threw civil servants and the indigenous of Kogi into, with the poverty of Kogi, should we not focus on the substance of this case rather than on technicalities of whether there was an invitation or whether there was no invitation? Let's be careful here how we demonize the EFCC. The EFCC may not do things the way we like it sometimes, but when people have case to answer, they should be made to face and answer for their crimes or alleged crimes, as the case may be. If EFCC had arrested Yahaya Bello, worst case scenario, he stays there for 1 week. If they extend it beyond the normal 24 hours, what has he got to lose? Will he be the first governor to go through it? Did Obiano not go through it? Did Fayose not go through it? So many lawyers that went through it, and so many governors, former governors that went through it. So what's the big deal in Yahaya Bello being arrested? What is the big deal? That we are forgetting the substance of the matter and we are defending rubbish.